I used to dread bedtime. Not because I wasn't tired, I was exhausted, but I knew what was coming. The tossing, the turning, waking up at 2 a.m. drenched in sweat, staring at the ceiling, wondering what happened to me. And every morning, the same cruel joke. The scale wouldn't budge. My belly looked even more bloated than the night before. How was that even possible? My doctor said it was just menopause, just eat less, exercise more. The same tired advice I'd been following for months with nothing to show for it. Then one night, everything changed. I was at my sister's house. She's 54, same as me. But she looked different, rested, lighter. When I asked her secret, she laughed and said it wasn't a secret at all. Just a simple bedtime routine she'd learned about that actually worked with her changing hormones, not against them. She explained how our bodies work completely different now, how the things we used to do before sleep were actually making us store more belly fat, and how a few small shifts at night could help our bodies finally let go of that stubborn weight around the middle. I was skeptical. I'd tried everything, but I was also desperate. What I discovered about how sleep and hormones connect during menopause completely changed my understanding of my own body. You're not lazy. You're not broken. Your body is just playing by different rules now. And once you understand those rules, everything can shift. Keep watching.
What if I told you the most powerful fat-burning window in your entire day happens while you're asleep? And that most menopausal women are accidentally shutting it down every single night without even knowing it. Today, I'm going to show you the exact bedtime routine that reactivates your body's nighttime fat-burning system. This isn't about another diet. It's not about exercising more. It's about working with your hormones instead of against them. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why your body has been storing fat instead of burning it while you sleep. And you'll have a step-by-step routine you can start tonight. I need to share something with you first. When I was 49, I would wake up every morning feeling like I had gained weight overnight. And I wasn't imagining it. Some mornings, the scale would show 2 or 3 pounds more than the night before. I thought I was losing my mind. I was doing everything right. Light dinner, no late-night snacking, 8 hours of sleep. Or at least I was trying to get 8 hours between the hot flashes and the anxiety that kept jolting me awake at 3 a.m. Sound familiar? I spent months feeling frustrated and confused. I had been a nurse for over 2 decades. I understood how the body worked. Or so I thought. What I didn't understand was that after menopause, the rules completely change, especially when it comes to what happens while we sleep. When I was training, nobody taught us this. It wasn't until I started digging through research papers at 2 a.m., because I couldn't sleep anyway, that I discovered what was really happening in my body. Here's what nobody told me. During perimenopause and menopause, your body goes through a dramatic shift in how it processes energy at night. When you were younger, your body would naturally enter a fat-burning state during deep sleep. This is called nocturnal lipid oxidation. It's when your body switches from using glucose to using stored fat for fuel. This process is incredibly powerful. During a good night of deep sleep, your body can burn anywhere from 300 to 500 calories, primarily from fat stores. That's equivalent to a moderate workout, happening automatically while you rest. Your body is literally designed to burn fat while you sleep. But after menopause, this system starts to malfunction. The reason is something researchers call hormonal thermogenic dysregulation. I know that sounds complicated, but let me break it down. Your fat burning at night depends on 3 things working together. First, you need adequate deep sleep, specifically the restorative stages 3 and 4. Second, you need your cortisol levels to drop properly and stay low through the night. Third, you need your thermogenic hormones to signal your fat cells to release their contents for burning. When estrogen levels drop during menopause, it creates a cascade effect that disrupts all 3 systems. Your sleep quality decreases because estrogen helps regulate sleep architecture. Your cortisol stays elevated longer because estrogen modulates the stress response. And your thermogenic signals weaken because estrogen receptors in fat tissue become less responsive. The result? Your body stays in fat storage mode all night instead of fat burning mode. You sleep, but your metabolism doesn't do the work it used to do. A study from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that postmenopausal women burn up to 43% less fat during sleep compared to premenopausal women. Think about that. 43%. That's almost half of your nighttime fat-burning capacity simply gone. If you were burning 400 calories from fat each night before menopause, you might now be burning only 230. Over a week, that's 1,190 calories of fat burning you've lost. Over a month, it's nearly 5,000 calories. No wonder the weight creeps up even when you're doing everything right during the day. But here's where it gets interesting. The same study found that certain evening routines can partially restore this fat-burning capacity. Not completely, but significantly enough to make a real difference on the scale. So what is this bedtime routine? Let me walk you through each step in detail. Step 1. The thermal transition window. This is the most overlooked factor in nighttime fat burning. Your body needs to experience a specific temperature drop to trigger deep sleep and fat oxidation. Your core temperature naturally decreases by about 1 to 2 degrees as you fall asleep. This drop signals your brain that it's time to enter restorative sleep phases. When you're younger, this happens automatically. After menopause, this process often becomes disrupted. Hot flashes cause temperature spikes. Night sweats interrupt the cooling process. Your body struggles to achieve the stable, cool state it needs. Here's what to do. About 90 minutes before bed, take a warm shower or bath. Not hot. Warm. Around 100 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Stay in for at least 10 minutes, allowing your body to absorb the warmth. What happens next is fascinating. When you get out, your blood vessels are dilated from the heat. As the water evaporates from your skin, it rapidly pulls heat away from your body. Your core temperature starts to drop more significantly than it would naturally. This enhanced temperature drop mimics and amplifies the natural decline that signals your brain to produce melatonin and enter deep sleep phases. Research from the University of Texas found this simple practice can increase deep sleep by up to 36%. Another study in Sleep Medicine Reviews confirmed that passive body heating before sleep improves both sleep onset and sleep quality in adults over 50. More deep sleep means more time in the fat-burning zone. It really is that simple. I started doing this 2 years ago. Within the first week, I noticed I was waking up less during the night. The 3 a.m. anxiety sessions became less frequent. Within a month, I was actually seeing the scale move in the right direction for the first time in years. Step 2. The cortisol clearing technique. This step is absolutely crucial, and most women skip it entirely because they don't understand how much cortisol affects belly fat specifically. Elevated cortisol at night is one of the primary reasons menopausal women store belly fat, and I mean specifically belly fat. Cortisol doesn't just tell your body to store fat anywhere. It tells your body to store fat around your midsection as a survival mechanism. Your body thinks it's under stress and needs emergency energy reserves in the most accessible location. The problem is, many of us go to bed with our minds still racing. We're thinking about tomorrow's tasks, worrying about our kids or aging parents, replaying conversations from the day, running through mental to-do lists. All of this keeps cortisol elevated at exactly the wrong time. When I was working as a nurse, I used to come home from long shifts with my mind spinning. I'd lie in bed for hours, physically exhausted but mentally wired. I didn't realize those hours of elevated cortisol were programming my body to store belly fat. The technique that works is called physiological sighing. It was developed by researchers at Stanford University's neuroscience department. Here's how you do it. Take a deep breath in through your nose, filling your lungs about halfway. Then, before you exhale, take a second small sip of air to fully expand your lungs. You're double inhaling. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for twice as long as you inhaled. Really extend that exhale. Do this 3 to 5 times before bed. This specific breathing pattern activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, and rapidly lowers cortisol. The double inhale maximally inflates the tiny air sacs in your lungs, and the extended exhale activates the vagus nerve. Studies show it can reduce cortisol levels by up to 25% in just a few minutes. That's a significant drop from such a simple practice. When I first tried this, I was skeptical. Another breathing exercise? Really? But I noticed that I felt physically different afterward. My shoulders dropped away from my ears. My jaw unclenched. I didn't even realize how much tension I was carrying to bed every night until I learned to release it. Step 3. The metabolic timing rule. This one might surprise you, and it goes against conventional advice. But the science for menopausal women specifically is clear. Conventional wisdom says don't eat before bed. Fasting after dinner. Close the kitchen at 7 p.m. But for menopausal women, the timing and type of your last food intake matters more than whether you eat at all. Here's the science. When you go to bed with blood sugar that's either too high or too low, your body cannot effectively enter fat-burning mode. Too high, and you'll be burning glucose all night instead of stored fat. Your body prioritizes processing that blood sugar rather than tapping into fat reserves. Too low, and your cortisol spikes to compensate. Your body perceives low blood sugar as a threat and releases stress hormones. This also blocks fat burning and can wake you up in the middle of the night with anxiety or hunger. The sweet spot is having a small protein-rich snack about 2 to 3 hours before bed. Something like a handful of almonds, a small piece of cheese, a couple of spoons of cottage cheese, or a few slices of turkey. The protein stabilizes blood sugar without spiking it, creating optimal conditions for nighttime fat oxidation. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that women over 50 who had a small protein snack before bed actually had lower fasting glucose in the morning than those who fasted from dinner. Lower morning glucose means better insulin sensitivity and more efficient fat metabolism. The key is small and protein-focused. We're talking 100 to 150 calories maximum, not a bowl of ice cream, not chips and dip. A measured portion of protein that gives your body stable fuel. Step 4. The light elimination protocol. This is where most women unknowingly sabotage their fat burning every single night. And I was absolutely guilty of this for years. Light exposure after sunset, especially blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs, suppresses melatonin production. And melatonin isn't just about sleep. It's directly and actively involved in fat metabolism. Research published in the Journal of Pineal Research shows that melatonin activates brown adipose tissue. That's the type of fat that actually burns calories instead of storing them. Brown fat generates heat by burning energy. Melatonin is one of the key signals that turns it on. Low melatonin means low brown fat activation, means less nighttime calorie burning. A study in the journal Obesity found that people with suppressed melatonin levels burned significantly fewer calories during sleep. Blue light is particularly problematic because it signals to your brain that it's still daytime. Even small amounts from a phone screen can suppress melatonin by 50% or more. Here's what I recommend. Set a digital sunset 1 hour before bed. Switch your phone to night mode with the warmest color setting. Use amber or red lights in your bedroom instead of bright white lights. If you must watch TV, sit at least 8 feet away and wear blue light blocking glasses. This was the hardest change for me. I used to scroll through my phone in bed for an hour before falling asleep. It was my wind-down ritual, or so I told myself. Breaking that habit took about 2 weeks of conscious effort. I had to charge my phone in another room. But once I did, the quality of my sleep improved dramatically. I started falling asleep faster and waking up more refreshed. Now, here's something important I need to share with you. Even with all these steps, many women still struggle with nighttime fat burning because of something called thermogenic resistance. This is when your fat cells become less responsive to the signals telling them to release fat for fuel. It's like your cells have put up a wall, and no matter how many correct signals your body sends, the fat stays locked inside. This is where the changes I've described can only go so far on their own. I discovered this when I was doing everything right with my bedtime routine. My sleep improved dramatically. My energy got better. But the stubborn belly fat was still holding on. That's when I learned about a specific Japanese-inspired compound that many women in our community have been using to address this exact problem. It contains concentrated Seville orange peel, ceremonial green tea, Himalayan ginger, and berberine in therapeutic doses. What makes it different is that it specifically targets thermogenic resistance, helping to break down that wall your fat cells have built. The Seville orange contains natural compounds that reactivate thermogenic receptors. The ceremonial green tea provides EGCG that supports fat oxidation. The Himalayan ginger enhances metabolic signaling. Because it contains no harsh stimulants like caffeine or synthetic thermogenics, it's designed to work with your body's natural nighttime processes rather than against them. Many women take it in the evening and report that it enhances their nighttime fat burning without disrupting sleep. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment if you want to learn more about how it works. But whether you decide to try it or not, let me continue with the rest of this routine because there's still more you can do. Step 5. The sleep position strategy. This might sound strange, but how you position your body during sleep affects circulation, lymphatic drainage, and breathing patterns that influence fat metabolism. Sleeping on your left side has been shown to improve lymphatic drainage and reduce bloating. Your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump like your heart. It relies on muscle movement and gravity to circulate lymph fluid. When you sleep on your left side, you work with gravity to help drain fluid from your tissues. Sleeping on your left side also keeps your stomach below your esophagus, preventing the acid reflux that often disrupts sleep in menopausal women. Low estrogen weakens the esophageal sphincter, making reflux more common. Every time you wake up from reflux, you interrupt your deep sleep cycles. Elevating your head slightly, just 4 to 6 inches, can help with breathing and reduce sleep apnea that becomes more common after menopause. Sleep apnea devastates your fat-burning capacity because it keeps pulling you out of deep sleep. I invested in a wedge pillow about a year ago. It made a noticeable difference. I wake up less bloated, and my husband says I snore much less, which he appreciates. Step 6. The morning confirmation practice. This step happens when you wake up, but it's part of the bedtime routine because it reinforces the whole system. When you wake up, before you check your phone, take 30 seconds to check in with your body. Notice how you feel. Are you less bloated than yesterday? Do you have more energy? How did you sleep? This isn't about the scale. It's about building awareness of how your body responds to the routine. Over time, you'll recognize patterns. You'll notice which elements make the biggest difference for you personally. I keep a small notebook on my nightstand. Every morning, I write just 1 or 2 words about how I feel: energized, puffy, rested. After a month of this, I could clearly see that the warm shower and breathing exercises made the most difference for my results. Now let me talk about the mistakes that will sabotage everything. Mistake number 1. Alcohol before bed. I know. A glass of wine helps you relax. I used to tell myself the same thing. But here's what alcohol actually does to your nighttime metabolism. It suppresses melatonin production for the entire night. It disrupts deep sleep cycles even if you feel like you slept. It causes blood sugar spikes followed by crashes. And it impairs your liver's ability to process fat. Even 1 glass of wine can reduce your nighttime fat burning by up to 75%. That's not a typo. I gave up my evening wine habit about 18 months ago. It was hard at first, but the difference in my sleep quality and morning energy was so dramatic that I don't miss it. On special occasions, I'll have a glass, but I know it affects my sleep for the next day or 2. Mistake number 2. Intense evening exercise. Exercise is wonderful for menopausal women. But intense exercise too close to bedtime raises cortisol and core body temperature at exactly the wrong time. If you exercise in the evening, keep it gentle. A walk, light stretching, restorative yoga. Save intense workouts for before 4 p.m. Mistake number 3. The wrong bedroom temperature. Your bedroom should be between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit for optimal fat burning. I know this is tricky with hot flashes. My solution: I keep the room at 66 degrees and use layers of light blankets I can easily push off during a hot flash. This way, I get the metabolic benefits without freezing. Mistake number 4. Inconsistent sleep timing. Your body's fat-burning hormones operate on a circadian rhythm. When you go to bed at wildly different times, you disrupt this rhythm and reduce metabolic efficiency. Try to go to bed and wake up within the same 30-minute window every day. Yes, even on weekends. Let me share what happened when I put all of this together. The first week, I noticed better sleep quality almost immediately. The warm shower and breathing exercises made falling asleep easier. I was waking up less during the night. By week 2, the morning bloating started to reduce. I wasn't waking up feeling like I had swallowed a balloon anymore. By week 4, my clothes started fitting differently. Not dramatically, but noticeably. My pants weren't quite as tight around the waist. By week 8, I had lost 7 pounds without changing my diet or exercise routine. 7 pounds just from optimizing what happened while I slept. Now, I want to be realistic with you. This isn't a magic solution. It's not going to melt 30 pounds overnight. But it creates the foundation that allows everything else to work better. When your nighttime metabolism functions properly, the healthy foods you eat during the day get processed more efficiently. The exercise you do has more impact. Your energy levels improve. I mentioned earlier that Japanese-inspired compound that targets thermogenic resistance. Many women in our community have found that combining this bedtime routine with that additional support accelerates their results significantly. The routine optimizes your body's natural processes, and the compound helps break through the cellular resistance. If you're curious about it, I'll leave information in the pinned comment. It's not for everyone. But for those dealing with stubborn menopausal belly fat that won't budge, it's worth looking into. Let me give you a quick summary so you can start tonight. First, take a warm shower 90 minutes before bed to trigger the thermal transition. Second, practice physiological sighing, 3 to 5 cycles, to clear cortisol. Third, have a small protein snack 2 to 3 hours before bed to stabilize blood sugar. Fourth, eliminate blue light 1 hour before bed to protect melatonin. Fifth, sleep on your left side with slight head elevation. Sixth, check in with your body each morning to track progress. And avoid the saboteurs: alcohol, late intense exercise, warm bedrooms, and inconsistent sleep timing. I want you to know something. If you've been struggling with menopausal belly fat, if you've been doing everything right and still not seeing results, you're not alone. And it's not your fault. Your body has changed the rules, and nobody gave you the new playbook. When I visited Japan a few years ago, I met women in their 70s who had more energy than I did at 50. They had rituals, evening routines. They understood something Western medicine is only now catching up to. I've seen women in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s transform their bodies by starting with these foundational changes. You can do this too. If this video helped you, leave a comment below and let me know which step you're going to try first tonight. I read every single comment, and I love hearing about your experiences. In my next video, I'm going to reveal the morning routine that continues where this bedtime routine leaves off. The two work together to create a 24-hour metabolism optimization system. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Your body is not broken. It's just speaking a different language now. And once you learn that language, everything changes. I'll see you in the next one.